What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're talking about open carry. Is it stupid? Is it something you should do? I thought that this would be a good video to go over since down in Florida they just recently passed an open carry law. Now here in Pennsylvania we are allowed to open carry, but as always, obviously check your local, state, and federal laws on whether you're allowed to conceal carry, open carry, whatever. But yeah, we're going to talk about tonight some pros and cons of open carry, and then I'm going to go over some holster options and a little bit of philosophy behind that, okay? First of all, though, let me just say, if you're considering carrying for the first time, if you're somebody who's a little bit new to this, just please understand that concealed carry is going to be better for probably most people in most situations. 9 out of 10 times, concealed carry is more appropriate in my opinion, as well as the opinion of real experts, okay? So probably you're going to be better off just going with a Kydex holster inside the waistband of some sort of inside the waistband holster that you can conceal. So even if you don't want to go inside the waistband, you could go with an extra baggy t-shirt, like these Glocktober t-shirts that we designed. Head over to our merch shop and get yourself one of these while they still last. But you could even carry an outside the waistband holster under a big baggy t-shirt or a flannel or a jacket or whatever, okay? So concealed carry, generally speaking, is better. But let's get into the open carry aspect of this. So before we go into all this, also remember that everything is different for every person, okay? So if you live in a blue area, okay, where guns are not necessarily as common or accepted, definitely you probably want to conceal carry. If you're somebody like me that lives in the middle of nowhere, open carry might be more acceptable, okay? And so for each of you watching this video right now, you all have to make that decision on your own. Really, in my specific situation, does it make sense to open carry at all or not? Now, there's a few times where I think it makes sense to open carry, okay? Or a few scenarios that I think of when I think of open carry. First of all is if you are doing some sort of outdoor activity. Obviously, if you're at the range, open carry, who cares, right? That's what you're doing, you're there shooting. But also, if you're in the backcountry, if you're hunting, if you're fishing somewhere or hiking, in that case, open carry is probably fine too, because again, you don't really have to worry about people sneaking up on you. You're maybe more concerned about wildlife and stuff like that. I would say, though, that even if you're hunting or something, it's never necessarily a bad idea to conceal carry, okay? Because somebody might come up on you, and I actually have a story. My grandpa, who was hunting up in New York on an Indian reservation, this is probably back in the 50s or 60s, way before I was around. He was hunting with a couple buddies, and they were up near the Indian reservation. When they were there, they came across another hunter, and this guy was an Indian, and he did not take very lightly to them being in that area. So the guy literally held them at gunpoint and told them to put their guns on the ground, their rifles on the ground. So they all put their rifles on the ground, and fortunately, one of my grandpa's buddies had a revolver inside of his coat, and as the guy went down to pick up the rifles, the guy pulled the revolver out of his coat and obviously told him, to give him their rifle, or his rifle. So concealed carrying, even in situations where open carry might be nice, concealed carrying is never a bad idea, in my opinion. But another couple situations where it might be good to open carry, I think if you're in some sort of situation where you know that there might be bad people watching you, okay? Say maybe you heard a noise outside or whatever, or you're out on the porch and, there's some nefarious activities going on out in your driveway or whatever. And again, you have to keep in mind, is it acceptable in your area? I know me personally, when I'm working in the garden, when I am doing chores around my house, I'm always open carrying because again, I don't mind that people see that I'm armed. I think it sort of might help deter them, if anything. Okay? Pause it. Alright, so now I'm just going to go over some different holster options. So if you are considering open carrying, please pay attention to this. And these are some options out there that would help you do so more safely. Okay, and the first one, this is my favorite outside the waistband holster, my favorite open carry holster. This is what you'll see a lot of police and law enforcement carrying, is a Safariland. I forget the exact model. I think this one's like a 6378 or something like that. But this one, it has just one little button right here on the thumb, and you have to slide that backwards in order to get the gun out, okay? So that is still very quick, but at the same time, it provides that extra retention that will allow you to have a little bit more protection against a bad guy stealing it. Now, the thing I love about these holsters in particular is they come in multiple configurations. You can get them for just a belt loop. You can get them for drop leg, all that stuff. I personally, for my carry situation, I like to go with paddle holsters. The reason I like paddle holsters is because, as you can see, I can go from one gun to another gun, and I can put that on my hip pretty easily. Okay, and these guns are all clear, by the way. But I can get those holsters on and off much easier. I know that seemed like I struggled a little bit, but you don't have to undo your whole belt like you might have to with one that goes through your belt loops, okay? But I like these paddle holsters. Again, this one's a Safariland. This particular one that I just showed you, this is my Glock 29. This is a Blackhawk CQC holster, okay? And I think it stands for Close Quarters Concealment or something like that. I really like this holster. Before you roast me in the comments, I promise, with this button right here, I'm not putting my finger on the trigger, so I'm not too worried about an accidental discharge. But, you know, you need to train with these a little bit. But this holster was literally like 20 bucks, okay? It's a pretty good holster for being affordable, for something that I can carry real easily, and I can draw it quickly. And even with this outside the waistband, like I said, if you get a big enough t-shirt, obviously you're going to print a little bit, but still, this is probably going to be a lot less noticeable than this, okay? But this is probably the one that I carry the most right now, because I can even clip this paddle holster onto a pair of gym shorts if they have a stiff enough elastic band, like the Arrowhead Tactical Pants. I will carry it with those. Alright, so this next one is a DeSantis thumb brake holster. Okay, this is a leather holster. I really like DeSantis holsters. I think they're very good and fairly affordable. And with this one, you have to take your thumb and push that button down, and as you do that, pull the gun up, okay? So these ones are actually pretty good too for concealed carry, but I like to carry these a lot of times and then tuck my shirt in behind it, okay, so that the gun is sticking out like that. And takes a little bit of getting used to. Okay, so as you see, I'm not very quick with the draw on that one, but I do like them. And here's the other thing about these ones, is they look nice. So yeah, the number one rule of, you know, concealed or open carry is always look good, right? So these holsters here, especially like this is another one from DeSantis, carrying my old classic Smith & Wesson revolver. That just looks very classy, in my opinion, and, you know, is more aesthetically pleasing, if that's something that matters to you. So that's another very important thing, is make sure you have a decent belt, a stiff belt that is able to hold up the weight and everything of these guns. I wear a 511 Tactical leather concealed carry belt. I don't remember the exact model. So then the very last holster that I'll go over is the one that I told you. This is a level 1 retention. This is a mini scabbard from DeSantis. This is what I would highly advise against if you're going to open carry in public. Again, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're on your own property or something, it probably doesn't matter that much. But I would not carry this gun open in public. All you have to do is this, and that protects you way more than just having nothing over it. Obviously, people can still see you printing and they can still pull your shirt up, but that's more of a process, okay? So that's what I think about those. Now, one more thing about sort of a negative of open carrying is, even though it might feel more comfortable to carry, this gun, or any kind of gun that is on your hip like this, is going to bang into stuff, basically. If you sit down in your truck or your vehicle, or if you're walking through a hallway or around a doorway or something, I have found that this will get caught on stuff very, very often. So I know this video is all about open carry, but I just want to make sure you understand sort of the negatives of open carry, okay? Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. That's as much information as I can think of. Sounds like the baby's ready for the video to be over anyways. But as much information I can get at you with what I own. Obviously there's much more information out there from experts other than myself. Remember, I am just a normal person. My only credentials are common sense. And take everything I say with a grain of salt, as well as people in the comments. So take a minute, drop down into the comments, leave a comment with what you think about open carry, your experiences with it, and as always, like, subscribe, and keep blasting.